Last time on Andy's Motorcycle Obsessions, it sounded like we had a Budgerigar trapped underneath the top cover.
It's really not good.
Well, today's the day we got to deal with him. Well, g'day everybody and welcome back. Yes, I'm going to pull all this apart and see if we can't find out what's going on. What my plan is at this point is just to take off the fuel tank and take off the rocker cover. And I want to do an engine leak down test to try and determine whether or not we've got a bent valve or something there now. So we'll run through that and see what we've got. So what I'm doing now is checking the clearances. And the reason I'm doing that is because if it's got a valve that's sitting down a little bit, because it's bent, it should be obvious. Should be obvious at the top here. Righto, so they're actually okay. So now what I'm going to do is remove the spark plugs and we'll do a leak down test. This is a leak down tester, not to be confused with a compression tester. And what the leak down tester does is it pressurizes your cylinder and it'll give you a percentage of leak. What you need to do is the cylinder that you're inspecting you need to have on top dead center, which we have currently got on number 1. I've got the hose plugged into number 1. What you do is you set your air compressor. My air compressor is set at about 50 psi on the regulator because you don't want to put 100 pound into these things. Then this is a quick release fitting and it's got a non-return valve in it so that when it's disconnected it won't leak. And I need to now wind this up. It'll only get up to about 20 pound, but I need to wind it up until that needle says 0. Close enough. Then you lock your regulator. Then you plug it in. Okay, so there's a little bit of leakage I can hear that's coming out. It sounds like it's going down past the piston rings. That's fine. I'm not overly concerned about that. It's not coming out the intake and it's not coming out the exhaust. I could hear it, so that's a good thing. So we just need to check the other cylinders now. And that's the same. Okay. So leak down test has proven that there's no damage to any of the valves. Thank God. Just going to cable tie these leads up out of the way so they don't get caught up in the cam or the chain. Choke. Gee, there's something tight there. I'm going to pull the cams and have a look. Let's fling some oil. Alright. Alright, so I've removed the cams. I've just been inspecting as I go. I haven't turned them yet. I'm just checking that all these buckets are rotated. Oh, fine. What I'm going to do though, I'm going to pull them out and have a look. Just putting all the shims in there, in those little like Chinese takeaway type buckets. So, all marked, exhaust and intake 1, 2, 3 and 4, so I don't mix them up. Right. Not the recommended method, but can't see any evidence of wear. Can't see any evidence of wear. So my theory behind all of this was that the only thing that's changed in here is the type of spring. So instead of having the conventional double valve spring, I've got beehive springs. And the theory behind the beehive springs is that they run at different harmonics. So they don't have they're not linear, so they don't have the same harmonic going through the spring. And that means that you can rev them as much as 700 RPM higher than a conventional spring, because they don't start the valve float as easily. And I was starting to suspect that the springs were coil binding inside of the bucket when they were compressed, because that's the only thing that's not standard. You know, it sort of led me to think that. But that doesn't look like it's the case. These all look fine. So a couple of people have commented that they've had similar sounds on their engines from either I'm having a bit of trouble getting this one back in. It's just angle the dangle because it came out all right. Yep, there it goes. A couple of people suggested that it might be the carburetor intake boots, or it could be something along those lines, like a compression leak. To me, it sounded valve because the RPM was kind of right. Remembering that a cam or a valve only operates once every other stroke in the RPM. Yeah, see, look, they're fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with any of those buckets or cam bearings or anything else. So what to do? I've got a couple of choices. I can run back over it and retension everything, torque up these heads, retighten these carburetor manifolds, try again. And I guess, what I probably should do is pull the cylinder head off, strip all the valves and make sure we haven't got a tight guide. But given that, putting faith in the fact that Schumann Motorworks know what they're doing and that they would have got the valve clearances right on the guides, I guess, yeah, ultimately if it seizes, we'll know. But I'm prepared to, I'm happy, I have to say, but it's still a mystery. Let's start with retensioning this head. Good God. There's a very good chance that's all it was. Alright, so we now have tap cover, cams, everything back in. Going to try and start it and see if it was just a head gasket. No fuel. Oh, get the fuel tank. Alright, fast forward. Try it again. Okay, so that was the budgie taken care of. What a relief, eh? So just the head gasket blown by the compressor. That was just the compression coming out of the head gasket. So to the guys that prompted me to start thinking about that rather than what I was thinking about, thank you, because you've saved me a lot of bloody pain. These things happen, you know. It's, at least I now have peace of mind. I've pulled the buckets out and gone right down to that, and I now know that it's not an issue with anything mechanical. Because I kept thinking, the tangent I was going down, I kept thinking, what's different? What's different? And the only thing I could think that was different was those beehive springs and the bronze guides. And so help me, that's what it sounded like. Doesn't matter. At least, as I said, I've got peace of mind now. So I can button all this up and continue to ride, which is bloody good news, unless it starts to do it again. It's pulled the head gasket down. I don't know how many times I can get away with retightening it. It could be that it's stretching the bolts. Christian, you warned me about that. You said to use brand new bolts. I haven't done that, but we'll see if we can get away with it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, and I'll catch you next time on Andy's Motorcycle Obsessions. Bye for now.